Maya Chen woke up at 5:30 every morning, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. While her parents worked downstairs preparing fresh noodles for their restaurant, Maya would sit by her bedroom window with her father's old camera. The sunrise over their small town looked different every day. Sometimes it was orange and pink. Other days it was purple and gold. She loved capturing these quiet moments when the world felt peaceful. At school, things were different. Maya always chose the seat in the back corner of every classroom. She kept her camera bag close to her chest like a shield. The other students barely noticed her, which was exactly how she liked it when they did notice. They called her the alien girl, not because she looked strange, but because she seemed to live in her own world. Maya's parents had moved to Oregon from Taiwan. Before she was born, they opened the only Asian restaurant in their small town. Working 16 hours a day to make it successful, Maya felt caught between two worlds. At home, she spoke Mandarin and helped fold dumplings. At school, she tried to blend in and disappear. Her father had given her his old film camera on her 15th birthday. "Maybe this will help you make friends," he had said in his broken English. Maya loved the camera, but it didn't help her make friends. Instead, it became her way of watching the world without being part of it. During lunch, Maya sat alone at a corner table. She would take out her camera and snap pictures of other students when they weren't looking. She captured Kevin laughing so hard that milk came out of his nose. She photographed Lisa helping a younger student with homework. These were the real moments, when people weren't pretending to be someone else. In art class, Maya felt more comfortable. Ms. Rodriguez, the art teacher, was kind and patient. She never forced students to share their work if they didn't want to. One day, Ms. Rodriguez walked around the classroom looking at everyone's projects. When she reached Maya's desk, she stopped. "Maya, these photographs are beautiful," Ms. Rodriguez said softly. "Would you like to share them with the class?" Maya's face turned red. She quickly covered her photos with her hands. "Don't look," she whispered. "Please don't look." Ms. Rodriguez smiled and nodded. "That's okay, but I hope someday you'll feel ready to share your gift after art class." Maya was putting her camera away when she heard familiar laughter behind her. Jessica, one of the popular girls, was standing, with her friends looking at Maya's photos that had fallen on the floor. "Look at these weird alien photos," Jessica said, picking up a picture of an old man feeding cats. "Who takes pictures of stuff like this? No wonder she's so strange." Maya's hand shook as she gathered her photos. She wanted to explain that the old man came to the library every day at 3 o'clock. He brought a bag of cat food and spoke gently to each stray cat like they were old friends. There was something beautiful about his kindness that Maya wanted to capture, but she couldn't find the words to explain this to Jessica. "Just leave her alone," said Tyler, another student. "She's not bothering anyone." Jessica shrugged. "I'm just saying, normal people take pictures of normal things, like friends and parties and cute selfies, not weird stuff." That afternoon, Maya walked home slowly. She lived above her parents' restaurant, and the smell of ginger and garlic always greeted her when she opened the door. Her mother was chopping vegetables for the dinner rush. "How was school today?" her mother asked in Mandarin. "Fine," Maya replied, though it wasn't really fine. She went upstairs to her room and looked through her photos. Maybe Jessica was right. Maybe her pictures were weird. Maybe she should try to take normal photos like everyone else. But when she looked at the picture of the old man with the cats, she saw something different. She saw kindness. She saw someone who cared about creatures that others ignored. She saw a story that no one else seemed to notice. Maya sat by her window as the sun began to set. She raised her camera and took another picture of her town. In the distance, she could see the library where the old man fed the cats. She could see the school where she felt invisible. She could see the restaurant where her parents worked so hard. Through her camera lens, everything looked different. More interesting, more beautiful, more real. Maybe being the alien girl wasn't such a bad thing after all. Maybe seeing the world differently was actually a gift. Even if she wasn't ready to share it yet, Maya put her camera down and smiled for the first time that day. Tomorrow, she would wake up at 5:30 again. She would capture another sunrise. And maybe, just maybe, she would start to see that being different could be something special. The town below looked quiet and peaceful as darkness settled in. Maya's parents continued working downstairs, the sound of sizzling pans and chopping knives creating a familiar rhythm in her room, surrounded by photographs that others called weird. Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She felt like maybe, someday, she might belong somewhere after all. October brought cooler weather and shorter days to Maya's small town. The leaves on the trees began changing colors, creating perfect opportunities for photography. But Maya wasn't interested in taking pretty pictures of fall leaves. She had discovered something more fascinating than landscapes. She had found the hidden stories of her town. It started by accident. Maya was walking home from school when she noticed an elderly man sitting behind the library. He had a bag of cat food and was calling softly to several stray cats. Maya recognized him from her previous photo, but this time she decided to watch longer. The man wasn't just feeding the cats, he was talking to each one, checking for injuries, and making sure the shy ones got food to dot. Maya returned the next day with her camera. She hid behind a tree and watched Mr. Peterson, as she learned his name was. For 2 weeks, she observed his routine. Every day at 3:15, he arrived with food. Every day, he spent an hour caring for cats that belonged to no one. Maya took pictures, but she also listened to his gentle words and watched his patient movements. "Come on, little gray one," Mr. Peterson would say. "I know you're scared, but I've got your favorite food today." Maya realized that Mr. Peterson knew each cat personally. He had names for all of them: Smokey, the big black cat with white paws; Princess, the calico who was pregnant; Tiny, the kitten who had appeared just last week. This wasn't just feeding stray cats. This was love in action. After 3 weeks, Mr. Peterson noticed Maya watching. Instead of being angry, he smiled. "You're the girl with the camera," he said. "I've seen you around town." Maya nodded, too nervous to speak. "These cats don't have anyone else," Mr. Peterson continued. "People think they're just strays, but they're family to me. My wife died 2 years ago, and these little ones give me purpose." Maya finally found her voice. "Can I take your picture?" "You and the cats?" Mr. Peterson looked surprised, then pleased. "Nobody's ever asked to take my picture before." Maya spent the next hour photographing Mr. Peterson with his cat family. She captured the moment when Smokey rubbed against his leg. She took a picture of him gently treating Princess's hurt paw. These weren't just photos of an old man feeding cats. These were photos of love, compassion, and purpose. Maya's secret project grew from there. She began staying after school to explore her town with fresh eyes. She discovered Roberto, the school janitor, tending a hidden garden behind the maintenance building. At first, she thought it was just vegetables for his family, but when she watched longer, she saw Roberto harvesting tomatoes and lettuce too. Give to people who didn't have enough food. "My grandmother always said that feeding people feeds your soul," Roberto told Maya when she finally introduced herself. "I grow what I can and share what I have." Maya photographed Roberto's calloused hands holding fresh vegetables. She captured him delivering bags of produce to elderly neighbors. She took pictures of the small garden that fed so many people. Each photo told a story of generosity that most people never saw. At the 24-hour laundromat, Maya met Chloe, a girl only a few years older than herself. Chloe came in every night at 11 with a baby carrier and textbooks while her baby slept. Chloe studied nursing textbooks under the fluorescent lights. "Daytime is for work and taking care of my daughter," Chloe explained when Maya asked about her late-night study sessions. "This is the only quiet time I have to study. I'm going to be a nurse someday, no matter how long it takes." Maya photographed Chloe reading anatomy books while her baby slept peacefully nearby. She captured the determination in Chloe's eyes as she highlighted important passages. She took pictures of the notes Chloe had taped to the laundromat walls. With medical terms and reminders, each person Maya met taught her something new. Mr. Peterson showed her that love comes in many forms. Roberto demonstrated that generosity doesn't require wealth. Chloe proved that dreams don't have expiration dates, even when life gets complicated. Maya's confidence behind the camera grew strong every day. She learned to move quietly, to wait for the right moment, to capture emotion in a single frame. She discovered that people were willing to share their stories when someone showed genuine interest in listening. At home, Maya developed her film in the tiny darkroom. Her father had helped her set up in their basement, watching images appear. And the developer solution felt like magic. Each photograph revealed details she hadn't noticed while taking the picture. A gentle smile, withered hands, eyes full of hope or determination. Her parents noticed the change in Maya too. She talked more at dinner, sharing stories about the people she had met. She seemed less lonely, even though she still preferred spending time with her camera over hanging out with classmates. "You're finding your way," her mother said one evening as they folded dumplings together. Sometimes the best friendships start with understanding, not talking. Maya realized her mother was right. Through her camera, she was building connections with people who had real stories to tell. She wasn't making traditional friends who shared lunch and gossiped about classmates. Instead, she was creating a community of people who trusted her enough to share their authentic selves. At school, Maya remained largely invisible, but that no longer bothered her as much. She had a secret project that gave her purpose. She had discovered that her small town was full of extraordinary people, doing ordinary things with extraordinary love. Maya's photographs were teaching her that everyone had hidden depths and untold stories. The shy alien girl was learning to see the world not as a place where she didn't belong, but as a place full of people who, like her, were just trying to find their way. December arrived with an unexpected surprise that made Maya's heart race with panic. She was sitting in art class, working on organizing her photographs, when Ms. Rodriguez approached her desk with a serious expression. "Maya, I need to talk to you after class," Ms. Rodriguez said quietly. Maya's stomach dropped. Had she done something wrong? Had someone complained about her taking pictures around town? She spent the rest of class period imagining all the terrible possibilities. When the bell rang and other students left, Maya reluctantly approached Ms. Rodriguez's desk. "Maya, I hope you won't be angry with me," Ms. Rodriguez began. "I submitted some of your photographs to the state high school art competition." Maya felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her feet. "You did what?" she whispered. "Your work is extraordinary. These stories you've captured deserve to be seen by more people," Ms. Rodriguez explained. "The submission deadline was last week, and I was afraid if I asked you first, you would say no." "I would have said no." Maya's voice cracked. "I don't want people looking at my pictures." Ms. Rodriguez pulled out a folder with official-looking papers. "Maya, your photographs have been accepted into the competition. They're going to be displayed at the Regional Arts Center downtown next weekend." Maya felt dizzy. Her photographs, her private world, her secret project, would be hanging on walls for strangers to see and judge. The thought made her want to run home and hide under her blankets forever. "Can I withdraw them?" Maya asked desperately. "Please?" "I don't want this." Ms. Rodriguez shook her head gently. "The exhibition opens Friday night. It's too late to remove your work now." Maya barely remembered walking home that day. When she arrived at the restaurant her parents were preparing for the dinner rush, she burst through the door and ran upstairs to her room without saying hello. Her mother followed a few minutes later, finding Maya curled up on her bed with tears in her eyes. "What's wrong, little bird?" her mother asked, using Maya's childhood nickname. Maya explained what had happened. To her surprise, her parents didn't understand why she was upset. "This is wonderful news," her father exclaimed when her mother called him upstairs. "Our daughter is going to be in a real art show." "You don't understand," Maya said. "I don't want people looking at my pictures. What if they think they're stupid? What if they laugh at them?" Her mother sat on the bed and smoothed Maya's hair. "Sometimes the things that scare us most are the things we need to do to grow." The week leading up to the exhibition felt like the longest week of Maya's life. She couldn't concentrate in school. She couldn't eat properly. She kept imagining groups of people standing in front of her photographs, pointing and whispering about how weird they were. Friday evening arrived too quickly. Maya's parents closed the restaurant early so they could attend the exhibition opening. Maya begged to stay home, but they insisted she come. "We're proud of you," her father said, "even if you're not ready to be proud of yourself yet." The Regional Arts Center was buzzing with people when they arrived. Maya felt overwhelmed by the crowd. She could see her photographs hanging on the walls from across the room, and she wanted to disappear. "I'm going to the bathroom," Maya told her parents, and she practically ran away from the main gallery. Maya hid in the bathroom for 20 minutes, listening to the voices and footsteps of people viewing the exhibition. She could hear laughter and conversation, and she assumed people were making fun of her work. Finally, curiosity overcame her fear. Maya crept out of the bathroom and hid behind a large pillar near her photographs. She wanted to hear what people were really saying. An elderly woman was standing in front of Maya's picture of Mr. Peterson feeding the cats. "Look at this one, Harold," the woman said to her husband. "This photographer really captured something special here. You can see the love in this man's face." A younger couple was examining the photo of Roberto in his garden. "I drive past the school every day for work," the man said. "I never knew there was a garden back there. This makes me want to stop and really look at my community instead of just rushing through it." A teenager about Maya's age was staring at the picture of Chloe studying at the laundromat. "This is so inspiring," the girl said to her friend. "Look how determined she looks. It makes me feel like I could work harder for my dreams too." Maya listened in amazement as person after person stopped to study her photographs. They weren't laughing or criticizing. They were connecting with the stories she had captured. They were seeing her town differently because of her pictures. An art critic from the city newspaper was taking notes in front of Maya's display. "These photographs show remarkable maturity," he said to his companion. "This young artist has an eye for finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. These aren't just pictures. They're windows into the human spirit." Maya felt something shift inside her chest. These strangers weren't seeing weird alien photos. They were seeing the same beauty and meaning that Maya had seen through her camera lens. Her unique way of looking at the world wasn't strange after all. It was valuable. Slowly, Maya stepped out from behind the pillar. Her parents spotted her immediately and hurried over. "Maya, there you are. People have been asking about the photographer," her mother said excitedly. "Asking about me?" Maya's voice was barely a whisper. An older man approached their group. "Are you the young lady who took these wonderful photographs?" Maya nodded nervously. "I wanted to thank you," the man said. "I know the gentleman in this cat picture, Peterson's my neighbor, and I never realized what he was doing every day. Your photograph helped me see his kindness. I'm going to start helping him with those cats." Maya stared at the man in amazement. Her photograph had inspired someone to take action. Her hidden story had created a real connection between neighbors. As the evening continued, more people approached Maya to compliment her work. Each conversation became a little easier. Maya began to understand that sharing her unique perspective wasn't about being judged. It was about helping others see the world through her eyes. By the end of the night, Maya felt different. The shy alien girl who had hidden behind her camera was still there, but she was no longer ashamed of what made her different. Her photographs had proven that her way of seeing the world had value, even if she wasn't ready to fully embrace the attention yet. Standing in front of her photographs surrounded by people who appreciated her work, Maya realized something important. Maybe being seen wasn't as terrifying as she had imagined. Maybe the stories she captured deserved to be shared with the world. When her mother burst through the kitchen door waving a letter, Maya, you won second place." Her mother shouted in Mandarin, then switched to English. "Second place in the whole state." Maya nearly choked on her rice porridge. "What do you mean?" Her father took the letter and read it aloud. Maya's photographs had won second place in the state high school art competition. The prize included a small scholarship and recognition. In the state arts newsletter, "This is incredible," her father said, beaming with pride. "Our daughter is an award-winning photographer." Maya felt a mix of excitement and terror. Winning was amazing, but it also meant more attention. More people would know about her work. More people would want to meet the shy girl who took the pictures. Her prediction came true faster than she expected. By lunchtime, everyone at school had heard about Maya's award. The local newspaper wanted to do a feature story about the competition. Winner, students who had never spoken to Maya before suddenly knew her name. "Hey, you're that photographer girl, right?" Kevin asked as Maya sat down with her lunch. "Can you take some cool pictures for my Instagram? I'll pay you." "Yeah, me too," said Lisa. "I need new profile pictures that don't look basic." Maya felt overwhelmed. These students weren't interested in her photography project about hidden stories. They wanted trendy photos that would get likes on social media. "I don't really take those kinds of pictures," Maya said quietly. "Come on," Kevin pressed. "You're famous now. Don't you want to make some money?" Maya shook her head and moved to another table. She pulled out her camera and started looking through her recent photos of Mr. Peterson teaching a neighborhood kid how to properly pet the cats. This was the kind of photography that mattered to her, not staged selfies for social media. The newspaper interview happened the following week. Maya sat nervously in the school library while a reporter asked her questions about her photography and her competition win. "What inspired you to focus on these particular subjects?" The reporter asked. Maya struggled to find the right words. "I guess I like finding stories that people don't usually notice. Everyone has something interesting about them if you pay attention." "Do you have plans to continue photography in college?" "I hope so," Maya said. "I want to keep telling stories about real people doing real things." When the newspaper article came out, Maya's photograph was on the front page of the local section. The headline read, "Local Teen Wins State Art Competition with Community Photography Project." The article brought even more attention. It was positive. Her photography teacher from middle school called to congratulate her. The town librarian asked if Maya would consider doing a small exhibition at the library. But not all the attention was welcome. Jessica, the girl who had called Maya's photos weird, approached her in the hallway with a group of friends. "So now you're like, famous or whatever," Jessica said, not sounding happy about it. "I still think it's weird that you take pictures of old people and janitors instead of normal, pretty things. Why don't you ever photograph us?" asked one of Jessica's friends. "We're way more interesting than some random old man with cats." Maya felt her face getting hot. "My photography isn't about whether people are pretty or popular. It's about finding real stories." "Whatever," Jessica said, rolling her eyes. "I bet you think you're so special now with your little award." Maya walked away without responding, but Jessica's words stung. Was she being pretentious? Was there something wrong with not wanting to take typical photos of typical subjects? That afternoon, Maya sat in Mr. Peterson's cat sanctuary feeling confused and discouraged. Mr. Peterson noticed her mood immediately. "You look troubled, young photographer," he said as he filled water bowls for the cats. Maya told him about the attention at school and how some students thought her photography was weird or wrong. Mr. Peterson chuckled and sat down on his usual bench. "Maya, let me tell you something. Before you started taking pictures here, I felt invisible. People would walk past me feeding these cats and look right through me, like I didn't exist." Maya looked up, surprised. "But your photograph in that newspaper made people see me." Mr. Peterson continued. 3 neighbors have started helping with the cats. Someone donated money for veterinary care. A little girl comes by after school to help me feed them now." Maya felt tears in her eyes. "Your picture didn't just capture what I was doing," Mr. Peterson said gently. "It helped other people understand that caring for forgotten creatures matters." "That's not weird, Maya. That's powerful." Maya spent the weekend thinking about Mr. Peterson's words. She visited Roberto in his garden and Chloe at the laundromat. Both of them had similar stories. Roberto said people had started asking him about starting their own community gardens. Chloe mentioned that a nursing school recruiter had seen her story and offered her information about scholarships. Maya's photographs weren't just winning competitions. They were changing lives, including her own. On Monday morning, Maya made a decision. When Kevin approached her again about taking Instagram photos, she had a different response. "I'd rather photograph you doing something you care about," Maya said. "What matters to you? What story do you want it to tell?" Kevin looked confused. "I just want to look cool in pictures. But what makes you actually cool?" Maya asked. "What do you do that other people might not know about?" It turned out Kevin volunteered at the animal shelter every weekend. Maya spent Saturday morning photographing Kevin training rescue dogs and helping them find homes. The pictures she took showed Kevin's patience, kindness, and dedication. They told a real story instead of just showing a posed smile. Maya realized that winning the competition had taught her something important. Some people would always think her photography was weird or different, but the people whose lives were touched by her work understood its value. The attention and recognition weren't about her becoming popular or famous. They were about her unique vision reaching more people who needed to see the hidden beauty in their communities. Maya was learning to distinguish between people who wanted her talent and people who appreciated her purpose. The shy alien girl was growing more confident, not because she was becoming like everyone else, but because she was becoming more fully herself. Spring arrived with new possibilities for Maya. For her senior project, she decided to create something bigger than individual photographs. She wanted to organize a community exhibition called Invisible Stories, where all the people she had photographed over the year could share their own voices alongside her pictures. Maya spent weeks planning the event. She asked Mr. Peterson, Roberto, Chloe, and all the other subjects of her photographs if they would be willing to participate. To her surprise and delight, every single person said yes. "I'd be honored to be part of your project," Chloe said when Maya explained her idea. "You showed me that my story matters, even when I felt like nobody was paying attention." Maya worked with Ms. Rodriguez to secure the school auditorium for the exhibition. They planned to display large prints of Maya's photographs alongside written stories from each person. But Maya wanted to go one step further. She wanted each person to have the opportunity to speak about their own experience, if they felt comfortable doing so. The weeks leading up to the exhibition were both exciting and terrifying for Maya. She had to present her project to the school board to get approval, standing in front of a room full of adults. And explaining her photography project was one of the scariest things she had ever done. "My project is about showing that everyone in our community has valuable stories," Maya said, her voice shaking but growing stronger as she continued. "We all live in the same town, but we don't really see each other. Photography helped me understand that ordinary people are doing extraordinary things every day." The school board approved her project unanimously. One board member commented that it was exactly the kind of community-building activity the school needed. Maya's parents helped with the preparations, working late into the night to mount photographs and arrange seating. Her father even offered to cater the event with food from their restaurant. "We're so proud of how you've grown," her mother said as they hung the last photograph. "You found your voice by helping others find theirs." The night of the exhibition, Maya stood backstage feeling nervous but excited. She could hear people filling the auditorium through the curtain. She saw Mr. Peterson arriving with several neighbors who had started helping with his cat rescue. Roberto came with his family and some of the people who had benefited from his garden. Chloe walked in wearing her new nursing school uniform, carrying her baby who was now walking. But Maya also saw many of her classmates in the audience, including Jessica and her friends. Maya wondered what they would think of the exhibition. When it was time to begin, Maya walked onto the stage. The auditorium was more crowded than she had expected. She saw her teachers, her parents, customers from the restaurant, city council members, and many faces she recognized from around town. "Welcome to Invisible Stories," Maya began. "For the past year, I've been taking photographs of people in our community who I thought had important stories to share. Tonight, I want you to hear those stories directly from them." Maya's presentation was no longer just about her photography. It had become about her community and the connections between people. who might never have met otherwise. Mr. Peterson spoke first. He talked about loneliness after his wife died, and how caring for the stray cats had given him purpose. He introduced the neighbors who now helped him, and announced that they had officially formed a non-profit rescue organization. Roberto shared his grandmother's philosophy about feeding people, feeding your soul. He had brought vegetables from his garden for everyone to take home, and he announced plans to help other residents start community gardens throughout the town. Chloe talked about juggling work, motherhood, and school. She thanked Maya for showing her that her struggles were part of a beautiful story of determination, rather than something to be ashamed of. She had just been accepted into nursing school with a full scholarship. Each person who spoke brought their own perspective to Maya's photographs. Maya realized that her pictures had captured moments, but the people themselves were the real stories. When everyone had shared, Maya returned to the microphone for closing remarks. When I started taking these photographs, I felt like an outsider in my own town, Maya said. People call me the alien girl because I seem different. But this project taught me that we're all a little bit alien to each other until we take time to really see and listen. Maya looked out at the audience and saw people wiping tears from their eyes. Jessica was leaning forward in her seat, paying close attention. Photography didn't just help me see these amazing people, Maya continued. It helped me see myself. Being different isn't something to hide from. It's something that lets us offer unique gifts to our community. After the presentation, people lingered in the auditorium for hours. Maya watched neighbors meet each other. For the first time, she saw her classmates talking with Mr. Peterson about volunteer opportunities. She observed Chloe exchanging contact information with other young parents in the audience. Jessica approached Maya as the evening was ending. I owe you an apology, Jessica said. I was wrong about your photography being weird. What you've done here tonight is incredible. You've shown all of us that our town is more interesting and connected than we realized. Maya smiled. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot. Could you maybe teach me how to see stories the way you do? Jessica asked. I think I've been looking at the world in a pretty shallow way. Maya realized that her journey from invisible to essential was complete. But it had never been about becoming popular or well-known. It had been about finding her purpose and using her unique perspective to help others feel seen and valued. As she packed up her photographs at the end of the night, Maya thought about how much had changed since she first started taking pictures of the sunrise. From her bedroom window, she was still the girl who preferred watching the world through a camera lens. But she was no longer afraid of being part of that world. Maya's parents found her sitting quietly in the empty auditorium after everyone had left. How do you feel? Her father asked. Maya thought for a moment. I feel like I finally understand what you meant when you gave me the camera. It did help me make friends, just not in the way we expected. Her mother laughed. You made friends with your whole community. Maya nodded, and I made friends with myself. The next morning, Maya woke up at 5:30 as always. She sat by her bedroom window with her camera and photographed the sunrise. But this time, she wasn't hiding from the world below. She was documenting the beginning of whatever came next, knowing that her unique way of seeing would continue to connect her with the stories that needed to be told. The shy alien girl had learned that being different was her superpower, and sharing that difference with the world was the greatest gift she could give.